Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us for our on-demand webinar, which I'm delighted to say will be hosted by Exclaimer. My name is Oliver Gardner and I'm a vendor business manager here at Inti. I'll be joined today by Tom Yates, who is a vastly experienced product specialist at Exclaimer. So what is today's session all about? Well, during the session today, we'll be covering off what is Exclaimer Cloud and why as a vendor they're important to you as an Inti partner, including how they can unlock new revenue and margin opportunities within your current Microsoft 365 customer base. So without further ado, I'll hand over to Tom now to run through today's session.
Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Tom Yates. I am a senior Exclaimer product specialist. Within my role, I am daily involved in our product demonstrations and onboardings. This has allowed me to gain valuable insight into all the common problems that organizations have when managing email signatures. I am very excited to be presenting this webinar. What is Exclaimer Cloud and how best to sell it? Today's session will not focus on how Exclaimer Cloud works and its many features. This is already available to view and read up on through many of our excellent online resources. Instead, I will be highlighting why it's important to manage email signatures in the first place and discuss the main issues around manual email signature updates. I will then explore the benefits of using the Exclaimer Cloud solution, and finally look into the valuable components of an email signature and where organizations can find value when managing the content of email signatures. Quite simply, Exclaimer Cloud provides centralized email signature management for an entire organization. Built for Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace, an email is guaranteed to get a full dynamic and professional email signature applied when sent from any device, including PCs, Macs and mobiles. It also allows for easy management of other email signature elements such as social media icons, promotional banners, legal disclaimers, and is all easily managed from one intuitive web portal. So in brief, that's what Exclaimer Cloud is. But why would your customers really need it? Well, firstly, why is it important to manage email signatures? Email is still the primary form of communication used by organizations today. There are around 4 billion email users on the planet today, with an average of 40 emails sent per user a day. To add some simple context to that, a 1,000 user company is likely to be sending an average of 40,000 emails a day. Email signatures are an extension of your brand, and as with your product and services, your customers expect a consistent professional looking signature where they know they can always find that direct support link, the phone number of their account manager, or your handle on LinkedIn. Each and every one of these email communications that we send also provides the opportunity to deliver information, whether it be for corporate compliance or company news. Promotional activities like a new product launch, or to provide an opportunity for customers to provide direct feedback or arrange an appointment. The value of an email signature management will differ depending on the position in the company. It's important to be aware of the requirements specific stakeholders will have where an email signature solution is concerned. Let's start with the IT professionals. They want signature updates and maintenance simple and easy. They also want to spend less time possible on email signature management. And they definitely want no impact on their IT infrastructure whilst doing any of this. Marketing departments, however, will want consistent signatures for all users that will conform to your company's requirements. They will want to easily add marketing banners and social media themselves to increase revenue and lead generation without being relying on the IT department. So with all these desired requirements, what are the issues organizations face surrounding their current signature management? For a start, let's consider the deployment of their email signatures. Generally, signatures are deployed in one or two ways. Using the settings within the email clients used, sending out instructions to users, visiting desks, or building complex scripts to push the signature out. Alternatively, some IT departments will use server-side mail transport rules to make sure signatures or simple text disclaimers are put into place. But let's now explore some of these methods in more detail. Entrusting email signatures to end users. Before we look at the methods of enforcing a signature policy, we must first consider why do in the first place. After all, you could let users design their own signatures. If you choose this method, you're basically opting for chaos. For a start, each person will interpret your brand in a different way. Some as well might pick and choose what contact information to include, and others might simply give off a negative impression by creating an amateurish template. Any of these changes will reflect badly on your company. Employees often don't realise the emails they send reflect the tone of an organisation, just as much as letterheads and business cards. Companies that let their employees create their own email signatures may not realise how they might be appearing to external recipients. A large majority of companies understand that in order to maintain a professional image, a level of control is needed over email signatures. If you let the staff build and design their own email signatures, they become unmanageable. Some will make changes on a whim, or they won't care about adding that promotional marketing data that you want to use. Sending out signatures with instructions. This is probably the most common method of ensuring everyone has an email signature. Sending out templates and instructions is always a great idea in theory. The idea, of course, is that everyone will copy and paste a company-approved template into their respective emails. This, in theory, minimises IT labour costs and stops the chaos of DIY designs, or does it? Unfortunately, it's very likely that discrepancies between the signatures used remains a reality. Simply put, users will undoubtedly make mistakes. An issue only made worse when you consider that as well, users may miss instructions, not take prompt action, or worse, choose to ignore them entirely. Visiting every user's desk. Another common method that IT will use to control employee signatures is a tried and true solution. Visiting every PC in the office to copy and paste the signature into their email clients. It's also the most tedious. Even with a small office of 20 staff members, this is still a time-intensive cost for any IT manager to shoulder. The impact of going from one desk to another means that this task just becomes a chore you're actively trying to avoid. Every time senior management want to make a change or correct a mistake, you have to go through the same process again, desk to desk, employee to employee, leading to many hours lost. Using transport rules. Use of transport rules can appear attractive, but definitely has some drawbacks. One, it can take valuable time and resource in setting these up. And should you desire that there be multiple email signatures for different areas of your business, you need to create each as a rule. Working out what content each department requires and building the required rules can be a real headache, let alone when you need to update them again in the future. Transport rules are also incredibly restrictive in what can be achieved. For a start, you cannot embed images, and whilst you can pull details from the Active Directory, should information be missing, the entire look of your signature might break. The biggest problem is with where the signature can be placed. Normally, when transport rules are used, the signature ends up stacking at the bottom of the email. You're also confronted with having to send several test emails just to see if everything actually works correctly. So now that we've explored some of the issues concerning some of the deployment methods that you can choose to get your email signatures into place, let's now consider some of the other obstacles to overcome. Designing in HTML. Many means of applying signatures will involve coding in HTML. If you have the time and the know-how to, you can create very elaborate designs that can achieve the objectives for your signatures. Of course, whilst use of HTML gives you a lot more control, there are still some limitations. Consider that only people who know HTML can be successful making and changing designs. A designer might be able to design a signature they consider to be a modern masterpiece, but that doesn't mean you'll be able to replicate it accurately into HTML. And HTML for emails is not the same as for the web. There are definitely constraints where it's possible to represent in various email clients out there. Rich text and plain text emails. You may also have to consider that users may have the need to send in rich or plain text on occasion. It may be obvious, but worth stressing, it is impossible to include HTML content on signatures appended to non-HTML emails. This makes it harder to make all email signatures look visually appealing and conform to branding, as well as function as a communication channel for items such as promotional content. Worse still, many modern email clients make things more complicated by sending in rich or plain text by default. Unfortunately, this includes some email clients that users can make substantial use of. This includes email apps on smartphones. This can make it very obvious to the recipient that the user is working from their phone and gives an inconsistent experience to those who receive emails from your organization. Agile email signature changes. When it comes to signature updates, IT is not always the driver behind them. Often it's departments such as marketing. An email signatures can be for promotional purposes as part of an integrated campaign. Marketing often wants to display banners in all employee signatures. For example, there might be an important event coming up they want to promote. IT will then often be asked to add banners to all user signatures. And of course, marketing want this done ASAP, especially if it's for a time-limited promotion. If marketing sees the benefit in using the email signature communication channel to bolster their campaigns, this could really burden the IT department with a mounting of change requests. Would it not be simpler, perhaps, to empower them to do this work themselves? And what of errors with signatures? Should one be reported? Surely you would want a way of updating your design swiftly and easily to rectify the situation. Rendering differently on different devices. HTML used in email signatures is actually very different to HTML used on web pages. There are many more email clients than web browsers, and each one interprets HTML in different ways. Every time a message is replied to, the sender's email software takes the whole email apart and rebuilds it into a new HTML structure. iOS is one of the most notorious offenders when it comes to stripping HTML out of signatures. This is because the iPhone, iPad email app sends emails in plain text format. So what might look great on a desktop computer might disappear completely on an iOS device. It can be very difficult without Exclaimer Cloud to cover all eventualities. You simply don't know which devices your emails will be viewed on, so creating manual signatures can be near on impossible. Signatures appearing with incomplete contact details and spaces. You will most likely have a directory containing all employee details and use this to populate their email signatures. This could be something like the Azure AD or the Office 365 directory. However, it's important to note that not everyone will use the same contact details. Some may have mobile numbers while others don't. Some may not have an external extension number while others do. The list goes on and on. This means that certain employees can end up with blank fields in their signatures, which will look inconsistent to recipients outside your company. Getting around this involves complex workarounds that won't necessarily solve the issue. The only way you're going to know what's in everyone's signature is for them to send you emails with their details appended to the message. So now that we understand and appreciate some of the common issues around manual email signature updates, what are the benefits of using Exclaimer Cloud? Well, to start off with, the main benefit is centralized control. Editing signatures can be managed centrally with Exclaimer Cloud. This significantly reduces strain and dependency on IT resources. You can provide admin or editor privileges based on the level of access required over the management of the signatures. It's just the overall ease of deployment of signatures and updates to all employees in your organization. Versatile deployment. Not every email signature needs to be the same. You can easily create different email signatures for different groups within an organization and specific audiences. It will allow for changes quickly and at short notice based on the needs of the company. You may also need to change a signature temporarily and at short notice. This can be automated and everyone will get the latest email signature without having to update it manually. All amendments and enhancements can be tested prior to going live, including previewing the design, ensuring brand compliance, spell checks, testing hyperlinks, as well as specific distribution before deployment. Automated consistency. With an email signature solution like Exclaimer, you are guaranteed consistency. You can preview everything before it is applied across the company. You can make sure every job title and name fit correctly. You can ensure each team is getting their assigned signature. From the job title to the phone number, every last pixel of the signature will appear as you designed it, whether emails are being sent from desktop computers or mobile devices. And if there is an issue with someone's contact details, you can update them in a matter of seconds. Even better, you don't have to worry about any user having blank fields in their signature. Exclaimer Cloud can tell which contact details are populated and hide any that are not. Increased efficiency. Your time is precious, and the amount of time you spend conducting email signature updates on a company-wide scale can be significant. It can carry with it a hefty labour cost that should be focused elsewhere. It becomes even more of an issue the larger your organisation is. However, when an email signature solution can carry out updates instantly, you're looking at immediate time savings. It will reduce inconvenience, inconsistency, lack of flexibility, loss of credibility, and human error. Cost-effective marketing channel. The email signature allows for consistent delivery of key branding and messaging, but it's a secondary aspect of your customer interactions. In other words, when individuals in your company interact with customers and prospects through email, the primary focus should be the one-to-one relationship and conversation. Rather than dilute the trust you are developing with customers through these interactions by following your interaction with an obvious email marketing campaign message, the email signature is a way to reinforce your brand and any campaigns in a more subtle yet consistent manner. I'm going to do that again. Apologies. That last, I said manager instead of manner. Apologies. It's doing well. Let's start again. Cost-effective marketing channel. The email signature allows for consistent delivery of key branding and messaging, but as a secondary aspect of your customers' interactions. In other words, when individuals in your company interact with customers and prospects through email, the primary focus should be the one-to-one relationship and conversation. Rather than dilute the trust you are developing with customers through these interactions by following your interaction with an obvious email marketing campaign message, the email signature is a way to reinforce your brand and any campaigns in a more subtle yet consistent manner. Marketing ownership. IT teams can delegate access to marketing departments for email signature design, messaging, and content. Marketing will not have any access to IT systems, but will be able to make signature updates without needing IT input. Essentially, once set up, IT no longer need to be involved. Marketing keep control of the aspects of the signatures that naturally fall under their remit, the design, messaging, and context. So finally, let us now explore the components of an email signature and why organizations will find value in them. If we think of an email signature as being made up of 8 key parts or components, these all work together to form the perfect email signature to use for multiple marketing purposes. First, start by looking at brand guidelines and ensuring your signature conforms to these. This would be through the use of corporate colors, logos, and fonts. It's important to remember the image plays a large part in marketing. Customers want to deal with companies they perceive to be of high quality. Most companies spend a long time developing their brand and then taking it to market. Email signatures reflect that brand when done correctly, of course, just as much as any other branded materials. You then have the actual contact block itself, which will include a name, a job title, phone number, email address, maybe even a photo. This information helps the recipient to understand your role and job function within your company. You'll want to then include a telephone number. Yes, a recipient might be able to look this up on your website, but why make them hunt for this? Make it easy for someone to contact you. You increase the credibility of your brand through the use of corporate certifications and awards. Organizational accreditations apply to the whole company, such as meeting a quality standard. Displaying these on everyone's email reflects well on your organization and showcases your authority. Likewise, putting individual achievements on email provides employees the opportunity to make a strong statement about their expertise, as well as provide them with a great morale boost. You give recipients the chance to connect with your company through the links to your social media profiles. If you're not promoting your social nature via your email signatures, you're missing out on a great opportunity to introduce your customers to something like your Twitter feed, Facebook page, or LinkedIn profile. Combining social media with email signatures is a great way to get loads of new fans for free. You can then improve the reach of your marketing campaigns and increase your customers' loyalty. You can communicate your latest marketing campaigns, events to increase brand awareness through the use of campaign banners. Email signatures are the perfect place for showcasing new content, such as a white paper highlighting special offers, attendance at trade shows, and so on. And the clicks are all free. This is where email signature marketing truly comes alive. To track how your banners are performing, you can add tracking links or UTM parameters to the URL. So you better understand customer engagement and conversations via an analytics platform. You can then quantify your contacts' interest with your signature content and how likely they are to convert to an individual level. You collect customer feedback through the use of one-click survey links. One-click surveys trigger real-time customer feedback from every corporate email sent, which can then be easily identified and responded to. A million miles from the long-winded customer surveys that hardly anyone responds to, but geared to obtain at least as much insight. Organizations use it to drive actionable feedback that improves customer satisfaction and reduce churn. You may need to comply with current email law through the use of compliant legal disclaimers. The email disclaimer is the least exciting part of the signature and can really look unpleasant, especially if they are too lengthy. Disclaimers are still really important, even if they are perhaps a holdover from the early days of email. They are a matter of lawful and safe operation for many organizations. As with other regulations that impact marketing efforts, you need to be aware of what laws might affect your company. And finally, you can use your signature to take control of your calendar by adding a personalized meeting link to allow recipients to schedule a meeting based on real-time availability. This saves time and removes the need to exchange several emails to find the best date and time for a meeting. With these components outlined in place, a company really places themselves in an excellent position to use their corporate email signature as a powerful tool. So that wraps it up for this session. I hope you have found this insight useful on how customers may be managing email signatures and now hopefully understand the benefits of what Exclaimer Cloud can truly provide them. Let's now head back over to Oliver. Goodbye and thanks for watching.
Thank you, Tom. That was brilliant. That was really, really informative. Guys, if you have any questions from today's session, please reach out to your Inti account manager and they can facilitate an introduction to the great team at Exclaimer. Alternatively, you can view Exclaimer products in Cascade. Again, thank you very much, Tom. Thank you, Exclaimer, and thank you everyone for joining today's on-demand webinar. And I look forward to seeing you all again soon.